Today, I will give a hands-on demonstration of a tobacco casing process. Various processes are used to make tobacco more enjoyable than in its raw leaf form. Cigarette tobacco is flue-cured. The leaves are hung in a large temperature-controlled room where the temperature is gradually increased to 170 degrees Fahrenheit or 80 degrees Celsius over a 5 to 10 day period. That preserves the natural sugars on the leaves of the tobacco by arresting the growth of the bacteria that would potentially feed on those sugars. Cigar tobacco is fermented for months. Years of aging the filler, the binder, and the wrapper. Perique tobacco is fermented in water, and I will cover that in another video. Now, almost all commercial pipe tobaccos have been cased. In North America, often in glycerin or in propylene glycol, but I will not be using either. The casing method I will be using is a simple technique that involves spraying the tobacco leaves with a sugar water solution and then cooking them for a while. Why? A cased tobacco renders the pipe tobacco more approachable. Somehow, the casing processes with a bit of sugar smooths out and mellows out the raw leaf while retaining and focusing the flavors. Cased tobacco has been the main component of my blends, along with raw, stoved, Cavendish, or periqued leaf. So, casing. I will be using organic white sugar at a ratio of 1 part sugar to 5 parts water. But first, I will invert the sugar, which is very important. That requires simply boiling a sugar water solution for 10 minutes with a touch of vinegar. The acidic vinegar is added to help break the chemical bonds between sugars, plural, thus inverting it. However, I have wondered if I could get a cleaner taste using another acid. Let's check it out. It turned out I didn't like the taste of the apple cider vinegar I was using in the tobacco. I could taste it a little bit. So I fished around and got some white vinegar, standard white vinegar, and that's probably a pretty good thing to use. But I was curious as to, could I use citric acid, which I have that, or could I use ascorbic acid? It's vitamin C. So I crushed up 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C tablets. Now there's some nonsense in there, and you can see it floating in there in the vitamin C tablet. I mean, it's not pure. But the pH on the vitamin C at 3.49 and the vinegar at 3.35, 1 teaspoon of vinegar in 1 cup of water, 2,000 milligrams of ascorbic acid, and they were close, 3.35, 3.49. The citric acid, on the other hand, is really strong. 1 gram of citric acid in a cup of water, that's 2.22 pH. A half a gram was only 2.46 pH. So that's a much stronger acid. So in other words, I could use citric acid in the sugar water, and it wouldn't take very much, and it's low, it would add a low flavor profile to it. So I just wanted to see what these different acids would do. And but one last time, I would not recommend the apple cider vinegar. It's just got a bit of a strong flavor to it that seemed to go into the tobacco. So I'm going to add 1 part sugar and 5 parts water. I'm not doing a full cup. I'm trying to fill up the squeeze bottle too. my ½ gram of citric acid. That turns out to be a shy 1/4 teaspoon. It says on here 1.23 milliliters, so I'm guessing it'd be about 1.1 milliliter or just a shot for citric acid. However, you could also use perhaps 2 teaspoons of white vinegar. Now I'm going to boil this for 10 minutes. But one more thing, and this is important. When the water boils, we lose some of the volume. And so I want to maintain that 1 to 5 ratio. So we're going to measure it now. Here it looks better. Come on, mix in. If the water was warm, it could Okay. So then, I will measure where that water is with a piece of tape. And later on, we'll fill back up to that level. Well, while we're waiting, let's talk about this for a minute. I tried honey for this process, honey from my own honeybees. I didn't like it. I tried molasses, kind of strong tasting. I didn't try maple, and I realized that at this stage in the process, I do not want to add a flavoring component. The sugar at 1 to 5, I can't taste it. It is really more at this stage chemistry. So after we're done here, I'm going to check the sugar solution with the pH meter and see what the pH is for our sugar solution, because that tobacco is alkaline. It looks like we're spraying a more acidic solution on the tobacco, and that could provide basic buffering, which might be part of the mellowing of the taste. Okay, let's check this out. Have to wait for the temperature to... Yeah, it looks like it's going to be about 3.10, 3.09. We're fairly acidic. This is more acidic than a white wine. All right, I let it cool down for a ½ an hour. I don't want to break my 100-year-old mason jar. I hate when that happens. So you can see how low we are now. So let's bring it back up to our ratio level. There we go. And I also don't want to pour hot liquid in one of these plastic bottles. No matter what Dow Chemical tells us, it's not safe and effective, folks. But I want it to be full. And I'll show you why once I get outside and we're doing it. Relatively full. Okay, that full. Here we go. So, I'm going to use these mason jar wide mouth pints here in the US. I can put up to 100 grams in one of them, but 80 grams is a little more civilized. So I want to spray the sugar water on all the leaves. One could simply pour it on and mix it in with one's hands. Work it in. I let it soak in for just a little while. The leaves soften up. As you can see, you could just about pour it on. I just want it to be on all the surfaces. And I usually put the jar right in here. You can't see it, I don't think. But like I said, I can stuff 100 grams in one of these jars, but 80 is a little more civilized. This one. I use new lids, old rings. Put them in the cannon. Like I said, once the leaves have soaked up all that liquid, you definitely don't want any water in here. Yeah, we're not boiling it. And this is EV Top. These are my top leaves. When it was warmer out, I'd spread all the leaves out on this glass table. It's about 4 feet by 4 feet. Right on the table. Worked great. But this morning at 7 o'clock, it was 25 degrees Fahrenheit here. This morning. I can see the Mount Rainier right over there. And on the mountain has a cloud cap on it. When Mount Rainier has a cloud cap on it like that, sure enough, in 1 to 3 days, we'll get the low pressure system will come in from the southwest and we'll get rain. It happens every time. So that's that. Now I'll take this in and we'll put some more. Oh, I got a little bit more here. Just put more. That's a pipe load. That. And this is an Italian pressure cooker. I've used my big Presto pressure cooker with a gauge on it. This one doesn't have a gauge on it. It leaks a little bit, so it's almost just perhaps a little more than boiling. Right. I would say 3 to 4 pounds of pressure, and in metric, I don't know what that is. That's low pressure for a pressure cooker. But that's what I want today. All right, I put the pressure canner on the gas, turned the gas on, let it come up to pressure, about 10 minutes, and then left it on for 30 minutes on low heat under low pressure. Then I turned it, after 30 minutes, I turned it off and then walk away from it for a half an hour. These are technically canned now, to use a common term. They're under vacuum. They've been cooked. Theoretically, they could be like that for who knows how long, a year, years? But I will let them stay under vacuum like that for 2 hours, and then I will spread them out and begin the drying process. It's 10 o'clock the following day, and the tobacco is almost dry. This is the Rustica, and it smells very strong, almost stinky. These two are from my friend's greenhouse, the Cherry Virginia. And this one is the Cherry Virginia from my outdoor plants. Now look how different the top, this is the midleaf greenhouse, top leaf greenhouse, top leaf outdoor grown. Now look how different the outdoor grown looks than the greenhouse. They smell different too. The greenhouse has a nutty forward kind of a characteristic, where the outdoor leaf seems more subtle, a bit more sophisticated. It'd be almost like comparing a good California wine to a good Bordeaux. Today I will taste them, but they're usually pretty rough the next day. And I found out this year that a year from now, these will evolve probably almost 50%. I have a numbering system that I use to rate all of my tobaccos like this. And when I tasted some a month ago that I did a year ago, I was surprised how much better it had. I had to re-rate those jars. So stay tuned for more tobacco videos. If you like this one, consider giving me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'm going to put up 2 ads for 2 of my fiction books right after this. Check them out. Thanks for watching.